Okay, so I've got a question for you, and we're actually going to talk a little bit about this later in the show, but I thought I'd start the show with this question to just get your opinion, just because I think you have more elation towards. You'll know what I mean when I make this, and not to say that I'm not excited about this topic. I am. I just have other focuses in addition to that elation. So, in your opinion, was it a good thing or a bad thing that Trey Lance was a no-show this past Sunday?
Ooh. It was surprising. I was surprised we didn't see him at all. That did surprise me. It was a good thing for Jimmy because I think Jimmy needed this kind of game. He needed a game where he had to work himself out of a jam and bring this offense and kind of put it on his back. It was a good thing for him. Was it a bad thing for Trey Lance? No, I think it was a good thing. I think Trey needed to see this too and needed to see this kind of win from a veteran quarterback. So I'm going to say it was a good thing. I have a feeling that 49ers Twitter, 49ers YouTube, and 49ers Instagram completely disagree with us.
Yeah.
But I think it was a good thing. I'm going to go good thing on this one.
Yeah, and I'm also going to say I'm pretty sure there's a large percentage of fans that would have thought like, I'd put Trey in there after the first 3 and out.
Oh, you knew that. You know what? Even our father, Rudy Sleece Jr., the unofficial 4th member of the GoldCast, he had told me the same thing. He's like, if he does another quarter like this, they're going to throw Trey in there. And I'm like, okay, all right, let's just all slow down.
This is the GoldCast.
Boom! Welcome to another edition of the GoldCast. We are the voice of the Bay. I'm your host, Rudy Sleece III, and with me is my brother, my co-host,
Raymond Sleece the first, baby.
Boom! I like how I had a weird hiccup there. I was like, Rudy Sleece III. I even did a hop thing. It was weird. So anyways, Raymond, we are back. And of course, we're going to get into the full breakdown of the Niners game on Sunday. But first, we have to have a quick conversation, a quick update about the return of our boy, the man behind us right now. And that is the other half of the Splash Brothers. And that's our boy, Klay Thompson. So here it is. Here's the official notice sent out by the Golden State Warriors today. I'm going to read it off. It says, Golden State Warriors guard Klay Thompson, who has missed the last 2 seasons due to a torn left ACL and a torn right Achilles, has made good progress during his rehabilitation over the course of the summer and is on pace to return for the 2021-22 season. Let's go! They didn't write "let's go" in there. I just added that. The exact time for his return this season will be based on his continued progress. Thompson, who underwent surgery on his right Achilles November 25th of 2020, which was basically 7 years ago, is expected to participate in various controlled drills during training camp. His return to full practices will be determined at a later date. Apparently, it's sounding like they are saying possibly December, the Christmas Day game, is what it might be the return of Klay. I, for one, Raymond, am super pumped. I have some reservations, but I want to pass the mic to you. How do you feel about this update to the impending return of our boy, Klay Thompson?
Well, it's good news because, he's the reason why we were, just a little off and inconsistent last season because we were sorely missing, a superstar. Klay Thompson's a superstar. He's a multi-all-star. He's the second best three-point shooter in the association, second to obviously Curry. And was, before his injuries, one of the best two-way players in the association as well. Not only one of the best shooters, but also one of the best defenders. And the fact that we didn't have someone like him really hurt the team because we couldn't progress. We were good enough for 500, but never good enough to quite get past that hump. And he was a key cog that would have helped us get past that hump. Now, will he come back and return to, old Klay? I think even if we get 70, 80%, that would go a long way. but it's still up in the air. His time is obviously going to be limited. We saw how KD's time was limited this past season with his injury, and he didn't have the same 2 injuries. He had one of the 2, and that was pretty harsh on him. Although, to be fair, Klay is now 2 years removed from the original injury, but only, less than a year removed from the Achilles injury, the injury that I have. And, I'm still approaching the year mark. It'll be a year next week.
And you're arguably in better shape than Klay Thompson. I mean, hot take, but I'm...
And I can shoot the 3 ball. No, but I mean, it's good news, right? It's good news that he's getting there. Wiseman also has an injury that he's recovering from. Looks like he's, getting there as well. So if we can have both these guys back, that obviously is huge for the depth and the bench and, the center, but it's also huge in terms of, having competent bodies that can also defend. I'm just worried about Klay's lateral movement because that was a big part of his defensive game. And I just don't know how the knee and the Achilles are going to, hold up when, he's going to be placed into situations where he's going to have to do that in order to keep up with defenders. We'll just have to see. We're going to have to, put our faith in the training staff and the strength and conditioning staff that they're going to have him ready and, that they're going to monitor him appropriately and that he'll be okay. Because one more injury like this, and I think he's donezo's. Similar to like Jason Verrett. He's on the, he's on thin ice right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, he definitely is on thin ice, and I think we're all worried about the level of production. And for me, it's not even about the Warriors winning. It's about Klay just being able to play the sport he loves at the level he wants to play it back at. I really care more about that than even the Warriors winning. It's like I want Klay back. I want him playing the game that he loves at the level he wants to play, and that's what I want to see more than anything. Like what I don't want to see is a hobbled version of Klay that's out again in halfway through the season. That's what I want to avoid, and that's what I think we all want to avoid. But this is great news. Great update. Super happy to hear it. As you mentioned, James Wiseman, they will come back to James Wiseman on October 15th and double check on him then. But it is a great start, and we're all excited. And Klay, we're pulling for you, and hopefully very soon we will have you back, maybe even this year. All right, Raymond, let's move on. It's time to go through our 49ers update, our recap of Sunday. All right, week 2, Raymond, is in the books. The Niners have now improved to 2-0. This game had it was kind of the opposite of last week. It had a wonky start and then a solid finish. It almost felt like it was a continuation of the fourth quarter last week against the Lions. The offense really struggled to get going, particularly in that first quarter. They did a great job of shutting down Elijah Mitchell, and Jimmy G just could not seem to connect with his wide receivers in any way, shape, or form. Things didn't really start to pick up till the second quarter. And in the second quarter, you had that 97-yard, 12-play drive that ended in a touchdown. That little pass to Juwan Jennings from Jimmy G to Juwan Jennings. Great to see him get his first catch. Great to see that his first catch was a touchdown. I mean, I can only imagine how exciting that must be for a wide receiver to do that, and it's also pretty rare. That's really when things picked up. And then from the third quarter and the fourth quarter on, you really saw this team, really put it together offensively. Defensively, as I mentioned to you at the beginning, who was my player to watch on defense? It wasn't a player. It was a coach. It was DeMeco Ryan. And I thought DeMeco Ryan put together a really solid game. You also saw the contributions that you had mentioned from week 1. You saw the contributions of DJ Jones and Javon Kinlaw, how crucial their return was to stopping the run. It looked a little dicey there in the third quarter and the third kind of going into the fourth. They started letting Jalen Hurts run more, and he started running more, and you saw that he was starting to kind of not necessarily gash the Niners defense, but he was putting them on their heels. And then I got really nervous. I thought, oh, man, if they're going to do this now for the next quarter and a half, this is anyone's game. We really struggle with this. But the Niners, I thought, did a really good job of containing him and clamping it back down. And at the end of the day, we take the game 17-11. But I want to pass the mic on to you, Raymond. What were your reactions to this overall game, both offensively and defensively?
Well, I didn't think that the Eagles would be so stout so early. You know, the 3 consecutive 3-and-outs surprised me. Jimmy looked rushed. He was sailing a lot of his throws. They were overthrows. The good news, though, is that no picks, no turnovers. Jimmy's been solid for 2 games straight. No turnovers whatsoever. You know, the one criticism that people tend to throw at, Jimmy lovers the most is that, he's good for 1 turnover a game. And that hasn't been the case this season, at least through the first 2 games. Now, is he going to be flawless the rest of the season? Absolutely not. That's every single quarterback in the NFL. But he's obviously tightened up that part of his game because we've had 2 games where it hasn't been an issue at all. Sure, he had the fumble in the opening series of Detroit, but, that got buttoned up really quick the game after that. So I'll give him I guess he has 1, right? But no picks. Picks do a bit more damage than the fumbles that Jimmy has given up. And he was solid on that one. To your point, D'Amico Ryans was amazing. I thought that they were much better against the run, with the exception of Jalen Hurts, which is a much tougher run defense assignment than traditional run defense assignments. For example, the Eagles outgained us on the ground. 151 yards versus our 117. Our 117 was a bit more efficient, but Jalen Hurts, was more than 50% of the Eagles' run offense. They had 151 yards on the ground, like I mentioned, but 82 of those was Jalen Hurts alone. That means that Miles Sanders, who's a great, dual threat running back, and Kenneth Gainwell, they only amassed, 74 yards. So, or 70 yards, I'm sorry. Yeah, 70 yards. It was 14 for Gainwell and 55 for Sanders. So, the math, sorry about that. But they held these 2 backs in check. Miles Sanders, he did average 4.2, but, he, for the most part, I felt like he was not gashing us as much as Detroit's backfield was. So that was a really big plus. DJ Jones was actually in the lineup last week against Detroit. He just didn't play well. And I thought he was much more better on the inside where they were trying to pound us. And Javon Kinlaw, man, I did not know the guy had that kind of reach. His length was insane. Yeah, it was, he didn't get any sacks, but at the same time, the one play that was most impactful saved 3 points and got us the ball back, in one play. So
it was huge. That play was crazy.
Instant impact. He's back in the lineup, and it's an instant impact. So we obviously know that is a huge part of the inside game. The combination of him and DJ Jones is really what makes them amazing. So it actually makes DJ Jones better when Javon Kinlaw's in the middle like that. So I thought defensively they were amazing. They carried the team throughout the whole game. And offensively, like you said, things didn't really pick up until the latter half of the second quarter. Was an amazing drive by Jimmy Garoppolo, especially when they went no huddle. I was getting nervous because I thought too much time was ticking off the clock, but that eventually played in our favor, and Kyle Shanahan knew what he was doing. So I shut my mouth real quick and just accepted the 7 points.
Here's something that I really liked. This came from the 49ers.com page. San Francisco's 2 touchdown drives were for 97 and 92 yards. It marks the first time the 49ers have had 2 touchdown drives that started from inside their own 10-yard line since December 6, 1992, against the Dolphins. The quarterback that day was our boy, Steve Young. Pretty dope. 97 and 92 yards for Jimmy to drive that team and to make this happen. This wasn't the prettiest win. It wasn't the fanciest win, but it was a win. And a win is a win. We grinded it out. The defense looked stellar again. And the offense, they struggled a little bit to put it together in that first quarter. But what did they do? They held the course and they made it happen. And that I was really excited about. And as you mentioned, no interceptions for Jimmy G. That was huge. No interceptions at all. I was very excited. Raymond, let me ask you a question. Who gets, and we're bringing it back, folks, who gets your game balls and who gets the cold showers?
Good question. I feel like everybody who needed to step up from last week did that this week, even though it was an ugly win. For example, Javon Kinlaw back in the lineup, instant impact. DJ Jones stepped up, better game than last week. Brandon Ayuk only had 1 catch, but it was a pivotal 3rd down conversion. in that drive in the latter half of the second quarter. That was big. He also returned a punt as well, but not as impactful as the catch he made, the lone catch that he made. So the guys came back and made it. I'm going to give the game ball to Jimmy Garoppolo.
Whoa!
3 consecutive 3-and-outs. He comes back. He shows that, hey, once he settled in and got a feel for the defense, he was able to thread the needle again. And speaking of threading, he had that one pass in between the 2 linebackers. I forget which quarter it was, but he threw a dart to Deebo Samuel on a pivotal conversion there. That was an amazing throw by Jimmy. One of the best throws he's made. In fact, I believe Dante Whitner said it was the best throw he's seen Jimmy made. I mean, the fact that he threaded, I thought, well, I was like, oh my God, there's defenders right in the lane, in the throwing lane. I thought it was going to end up in a pick, but sure enough, the perspective that Jimmy had, he was throwing the ball perfectly between 2 defenders that could not get there in time. So just a hell of a gun of a throw on that particular play. But the 2 scoring drives, Jimmy was nails. Jimmy really settled in after having a rough start. And so my game ball goes to Jimmy Garoppolo. As for cold showers.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if this is a fair cold shower or not, but I'm going to say, this almost feels unfair. I feel like I should give this to one of the Eagles players just for the hell of it. Trey Sermon, 1 carry, concussion, gone. Just a unfortunate, debut. Not the way I was hoping his career would start. And he was off to a good run on that handoff too, and then just got elbowed in the head, then got
body slammed because they DDT'd him.
Just got rhinoed in the head while he was going down, then hit his head on the way down to the ground. So received 3 head blows in the game. So it's not, I don't want to give him a cold shower like, hey, you suck, or I'm disappointed in you. It's just like, to me, this cold shower is just like, dude, he probably needed a cold shower after that, getting his bells rung. Like, to me, it was just like an unfortunate, like, wow, what a horrible start to your career. He's going to be back, though. He's obviously in concussion protocol right now, but I think he's going to be back and he's going to be fine, especially considering we're losing backs right now. So he's going up the depth chart by default, even though we're bringing in, we're bringing in Lamar Miller. We're bringing in, I forget who else we're bringing in too for a tryout. Lamar Miller, the 32-year-old back, and another running back too. Duke Johnson. Okay, yeah. So Duke Johnson, formerly of the Houston Texans, and Lamar Miller, also formerly of the Houston Texans. So we're bringing in them. We also have Kerryon Johnson from Detroit, and we also had Trenton Cantor, who had 1 carry this past week. Trenton Cannon, who had a carry last week. So, but we'll see. Trey Sermon, I want to see Trey Sermon get another shot because he's the back with the highest ceiling out of everyone that we drafted, and outside of Raheem Mostert. So I'd like to see him get another shot this weekend. So I'm gonna give a cold shower, but it's a sympathetic cold shower. It's not a bad boy. How dare you? What were you thinking? Kind of cold shower.
All right. So here's mine. We'll call that he is a. We'll go like NFL speak. It's an unintentional cold shower. That's what he received. He received an unintentional cold shower. Okay. So game ball. I'm going to give my game ball to our boy, who is clearly back and just balling at a level.
I almost gave him one.
Yeah, and that's going to go to Nick Bosa. 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Nick Bosa is back. He is back. 2 games in a row, back-to-back sacks. I love it. I love it. This makes me happy. That is the Nick Bosa I want to see. That's the guy that I know. That's Nick Bosa we know and love. That's the one we sorely missed last year. The game ball goes to Nick Bosa for just killing it. Absolutely killing it. I'm very proud of Nick Bosa.
He looked much more comfortable coming off the edge in this game and was moved around quite a bit. You know, the one sack where he stripped Jalen Hurts, he's actually coming off of the left side. Well, the right side if you're from Jalen Hurts' perspective, but he typically plays on the opposite side. And so having him coming off of that side, which I believe Jalen Hurts is, I think Jalen Hurts is a lefty, yeah? No, he's a righty. And so coming off of his good side, not his blind side there, and still getting the sack, that was amazing. So just great effort. He looked very explosive, very bursty. I saw a little bit of that in the Detroit game, but it seemed like he felt more, like he was more in stride in this next game, which I think that just because of his age, he's in a good age to have that kind of injury, and B, his mindset. He's like, as Kyle Shanahan has alluded to, he's like all football all day. So he's just, all in. He's
working himself back into shape.
Yeah, but I mean, he looks like he's in tremendous shape.
Yeah,
but he looked very much like the Pro Bowl Nick Bosa that we saw last season or the season before.
Yeah, he did, and that definitely he gets the game ball for me. That was the 2 sacks and the forced fumble. That was it. Thank you. Welcome to the GoldCast, Canton. You're in for this week. So, my cold shower. Well, last week I said that offensively there were 2 players I was really looking at and expecting and excited to see make big moves. And I wanted to see them continue their success from the week before. And that was Jimmy G and Elijah Mitchell. And I kind of have to give my cold shower to both those guys. It's funny because you gave the game ball to Jimmy, and I'm giving Jimmy the cold shower. That first quarter, the first 2 quarters, outside of that final drive in the second quarter, which was great and I think was well played by the offense, man, I almost want to give the whole offense a cold shower. I'll do that. I'm going to give the whole offense a cold shower. The offense really let me down. I can't even just put it solely on Jimmy G and Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell, the defense of the Eagles did a great job of shutting him down. He didn't look that great. Debo didn't look that great.
The Eagles' best unit on either side of the ball is their front.
Yeah. The Jimmy G didn't look great. Elijah Mitchell didn't look great. Debo didn't look great. I mean, everywhere you turn, that offense really looks stunted. And I have to admit, our father, the unofficial 4th member of the GoldCast, Rudy Jr., was asking me today, who do you think would win between the Rams and the Niners? I said the Niners. I think we have their number. I'm not even worried about them. He's like, who do you think's better? I was like, I give the Rams a slight edge right now after simply looking at their 2 offenses this week. Their offense looks like it is just going at a mile a minute, and ours looked a lot more stunted this week.
Yeah, plus we're getting injured. We're getting injured again. This time it just seems to be affecting one position, the running back. But that hurts because that is the nucleus of Kyle Shanahan's offense and how it operates. It stems from the running game, and we're dropping backs left and right. Yeah,
so that part has to get cleaned up, and and the running game, the Niners are best when they're playing a 50-50 ball. When it's a balance between run and pass, that's when you really see that I think is that's his philosophy being executed at its highest level. And that is when the Niners offensively seem to be unstoppable. When you're not sure whether they're going to pass or they're going to run, and we're doing 50-50 of both, and it's just coming at you just mile a minute. And the Niners, the run game Eagles did a great job of stuffing the run, and it made it really difficult for the Niners to do what they needed to do. Jimmy stepped up. He did play a great game, but I wanted to say I will give the cold shower to the whole offense. They get my cold shower this week, simply because I expected a lot more from them, and it just took them a while to get going. Defensively, Nick Bosa gets the game ball. That's where we sit on it. Raymond, let me ask you a question now. Here's my final question going into this next week. How concerned are you about that backfield? And will this put the Niners in a precarious situation going forward?
I don't think so. I'm not worried at all because, to counter your cold shower to the offense, I will say, there is a silver lining here that is very noteworthy, and that's that 0 sacks allowed on Jimmy Garoppolo in 2 games. Not only is this one of the best run blocking units in all of football, but so far through 2 games, they haven't even allowed a single sack. In fact, I believe they've also allowed the least amount of quarterback pressures in the National Football League. So this unit getting things done on both sides of their duties, the run side and the pass side. So kudos to the offensive line that so far through 2 weeks of football looked like the best unit in the entire league. So that was great. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not worried about the running back unit, is because no matter who you put back there, as long as you have a stout offensive line, majority of backs that you put back there are going to have success. It's just a matter of, what skill set and talent each back has that can add on top of, the amazing blocking that they're going to get downfield, not only from the offensive line, but also from the likes of course, Kyle Juszczyk, a Pro Bowl fullback, and of course, George Kittle, a Pro Bowl tight end, who's not only he's a Pro Bowler because of his catching, receiving skills, but also because of his blocking skills too. So you have the best blocking units in the league. So whoever is back there, be it a 32-year-old Lamar Miller or, a 3rd-round pick, 26-year-old Kerryon Johnson, I think that they're going to have success in this offense because the system is very much tailored to, put running backs in a successful position, each time they have possession of the ball. So I'm not worried about that at all. I think it's great. I think, there's also, defensively, one last thing, someone that's standing out to me on the rookie side of things that had some moments when he, looked compromised, but didn't seem shook at all and continued to play a solid game and was 4th on the defense in tackles this past Sunday. Diamador Lenore, the rookie defensive back, had 3 pass deflections this past Sunday. He gave up the big 90-something bomb, which was unfortunate, but didn't seem shook. Played his game, made some great plays throughout the game. He looks like this is a guy that could develop into a player. Ambry Thomas was a healthy scratch because he struggled, but Diamador Lenore seems to be coming along at a much better pace and could be, as Matt Mayoko put it today, he thinks that he could turn into a long-term cornerback for the 49ers if he continues to play like he has so far.
That is a great one, Raymond. I'm really glad that you touched on Diamador Lenore because I agree. His impact was very noticeable this past week. I was like, wow, okay, I see you, boy. I see you. Defensively, this unit is monstrous again. We're seeing another unit that is just playing at such a high level. I'm not worried about them. And D'Amico Ryan this week, I really liked it. Had a couple blitz packages in there that really shocked the Eagles. You saw Jalen Hurts just rushing instantly to get out of there, and I was very impressed with some of the things that they did this week and the way they shored up that run. You saw instant. I told you, D'Amico's who I wanted to see. He's got a million weapons out there. This thing should be playing. This is the best possible scenario for a brand new defensive coordinator, and I thought he really did a great job. And I thought the defense kept us in that game all week, all day long.
They did. They've been amazing. D'Amico's done a terrific job with this unit. I've been very pleased with what I've seen so far. I mean, it's all the same characters. It's all the same players from last season for the most part, and he's using them in a similar system. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so I like that approach. It's the same thing, but he's adding to it, right? He's adding a little bit more
little wrinkles.
Yeah, little wrinkles here and there. It's a bit more aggressive in terms of blitz packages, which is great to see because we have the skill players in order to execute and be a bit more aggressive, a little more Pittsburgh Steeler-ish, if you will. So, but I know we have a preview episode coming up next, so I'm going to throw out one little preview of the preview, and that's that we will see Trey Lance in our next matchup. We didn't see him at all this game.
Whoa, boy. I know. We did not see Trey Lance. I was going to mention that. The Trey Lance watch. No Trey Lance this
Nowhere
week.
To be found. This one was tough sledging, so I felt like the way that they want to use Trey Lance, this game did not start off in a way, nor did it ever get to a place where I think Kyle Shanahan felt comfortable bringing out Trey Lance. Because, you need a veteran quarterback that's going to work his way out of a jam like we saw the Eagles present. And Trey Lance is not ready for that type of scenario. So kind of just leaving him out of the playbook and just focusing on trying to get the Niners core offense going was the right decision by Kyle Shanahan. And I thought that was, to me, in my opinion, that's the main reason why we didn't see him.
You know, and I'll yes and you, and then we'll leave it at this. Jimmy was in like a classic baseball scenario, right? And so what I mean by that is you got your ace out there, and it's the second inning, the third inning, and he's got bases loaded. And you're like, oh man, come on, guy. Like we're already down. Like we're down. It's already 1-0 for the other team, and we got bases loaded. You're supposed to be our boy, and you're in a jam right now. And he works his way out of the jam, and he plays for 3 more innings, and he's lights out. That was kind of the scenario Jimmy was in. He was kind of playing from behind. It was a rough start to the game, and he worked his way out of it. And that, like you said, that is the veteran presence that Jimmy brings, and that is the thing we like about Jimmy. Like, again, third down conversions, what were they? It was 6 of 15, I believe. 6 of 14.
They were like 42%.
Yeah. Yeah, which I always trust Jimmy on those third downs. And, when he needs a big one, he gives it to you. And I thought that from the touchdown on, he played a great game. He played a really good game. And so I was very proud of him. And I think it's a great, right? The baseball metaphor. He just worked him. He had a couple rough innings, and then he worked himself out of it. And then it was smooth sailing after that. Not the prettiest win, but a W's a W. So I can't wait. I can't wait for our preview episode when we break everything down and look ahead at the big, big game coming up.
First big test of the year.
First big test. Sunday Night Football, baby. Let's go. And what say you, GoldCast Empire? How did Jimmy play? Did you like it? Were you like, yes? No? How did you feel about the offense? What about the defense? What about the return of Nick Bosa really showing off today? Let us know in the comments. Go to youtube.com/thegoldcast. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And so concludes another edition of the GoldCast. We are the voice of the Bay. I'm your host, Rudy Solis III, and with me is my brother, my co-host,
Raymond Solis the first, baby.
Boom! We'll see you next time. Stay tuned and stay hyphy.